So Ark 2 is a game that we've sort of all been awaiting, especially considering, you know, after it was announced after the release of Genesis Part 2. It literally teased it right at the end of the final cutscene. But still, at this point, 3 years later, almost 4 at this rate, it'll be next September, it'll be 4 years, we have still not received Ark 2, and it has become a very controversial topic on which to speak on. Sort of like ASA as well, although that is slightly more grounded, because ASA inherently split the player base apart, as people playing on Xbox Ones and PS4s and computers or the Switch or mobile and all of that would not be able to run the new game. Computers that obviously weren't able to run ASA as the requirements are quite high. And I don't care what you say, even on a 3090 it still struggles. I got a 3090 myself and I still have to use an FSR frame generation mod to even touch 60 FPS at some reasonable settings at even 1080p. Although I do tend to run it at 1440, but resolution doesn't seem to make much of a difference to the performance of ASA when you change it for some reason. The game is inherently unoptimized, you cannot tell me otherwise. Digital Foundry did a video on it, so if you want to hear it from the professionals, then go watch their video. But we're not talking about ASA today, we're talking about Ark 2 and why it's so controversial. You would think surely if it's Unreal Engine 5, a new game, a new experience, it's going to be great and people are going to love Ark 2 for all Ark 2 offers. But in my opinion, you know, that's not the case, and a lot of people's opinions, that is not the case also, because it's going to be a Souls-like combat game. If you didn't know, Ark Survival Evolved is very much sandbox survival, and it is what we have grown to know and love. Rust sort of follows a similar train of thought, but a Souls-like game could be compared to something like Zelda or Dark Souls. Elden Ring is a good example because that is quite a recent game. I'm sure we all know Elden Ring, but I don't know if we want our Ark 2 experience to be like Elden Ring, and in my opinion it certainly won't be like Elden Ring. For one, it shouldn't be as difficult as Elden Ring, but it's not a Dark Souls game after all, and you know, it's not going to be the exact same. There are going to be dinosaurs in it and all of that, and to be fair, the graphics do look stunning. It is Unreal Engine 5 after all. It is a great engine visually, maybe not the best for optimization, but it is quite accessible, and you know, Unreal have tried to make the engine far better than 4, and you know, for what I can see, Unreal Engine 5 is far better than Unreal Engine 4. But it's mainly the style of the game that people are complaining about. Everyone wanted Ark 2 to be a sandbox survival game. That is what it originally was branded as. It was just going to continue the experience and lift things up to new heights. But then they decided to make the game a Souls-like combat one, and I don't think that really stands up to the sandbox survival that we're all knowing and expecting, and I don't know if it's really what we want. Sorry about any weird cut there, my camera just died. But back to it, I don't think many players were expecting or wanting a Souls-like combat game. You know, I love Zelda for all its attributes, but that's Zelda and not Ark, and arguably, you know, maybe that's not what you want for some Zelda games as well. I know Breath of the Wild surely has it and it works. Tears of the Kingdom as well, but I feel like Tears of the Kingdom's a little bit bloated. That's another conversation though, and that'll probably be a Patreon exclusive video actually, because I'm going to talk about some other games on there as well, and if you feel like you want that, then the links for my Patreon are in the description and in a pinned comment below. You can join for free as well. We do monthly Q&As, so feel free to comment down below any questions on the Patreon, because you will get priority to those Q&As, and you're just basically guaranteed to get into it. Either way, I don't think any Ark player was expecting a Souls-like combat game. If you are someone in 2021 when Ark 2 was announced, you know, it's going to be a Souls-like combat game. People just think you're crazy. It's really not to the audience's expectations, and still to this day, I don't really know why it is like that and why Wildcard is choosing to do this. Maybe they want to change up the game a little bit, and with the new building mechanics and all of it, it does seem to sort of fit in, but again, it is really not expected. Now, from the other side of things, away from the negatives and just being like, well, that's not what we want a sandbox survival game, there is a lot of something about just getting into a new experience, and Ark 2 being maybe a new thing to push the game forward, and maybe this is a good thing for the game. And you know, at this rate, none of us have really tried Ark 2, and I don't think we can say for sure until it's been released. Some people from the get-go already know they will hate it, and, you know, that's fine. You can just stick to Ark 1 or ASA, of course. But I'm sort of in the middle, I would say. I'm not just like, yes, I can't wait for a Souls-like survival game like Ark 2, but I'm also like, you know, maybe I did want a sandbox survival. If it's a sandbox survival, I'll be like, yeah, I'm going to love this game. But, you know, considering all of it and considering it's going to be a Souls-like combat game, I'm not sure. I'm on an if. I just want to wait until I've actually played the game, and then I think I'll have a more valid opinion on it. And I think a lot of you can agree with me there. I have not had the material in my hands yet, so I can't really justify if it is the game for me or not the game for me. I've been playing a lot less games recently as I've been going towards music stuff as well. So, you know, I might not even play the game because I might not even have the time for it. And, you know, I haven't actually had a lot of time to play Ark recently either. The original, I'm sort of going off it slightly, so maybe this is the experience that I need to sort of get me back into games again. Because don't get me wrong, I love Ark and all things that Ark has to offer, but it does get maybe a little bit dragging, especially after like delays for Ark 2 and all of this, when we are seeing new content at our fingertips and then it just gets pushed away from us because the release date was completely not accurate. It's not a very nice feeling, and it does get very grating in my opinion after a while. And I think maybe Ark 2 could be a release from all of that. It might be what we're needing, but you know, at the end of the day, I'm not really sure. We need it in our hands. I don't really mind what you say in the comments, just as long as you keep it reasonably respectful. But feel free to disagree with me, and if you really hate Ark 2 and all things Ark 2 and Souls-like combat games, then leave your thoughts in the comments, as I think it will give viewers maybe a bit more of a perspective of the general opinion, because I can't tell you what the general consensus is. Only you in the audience really can, and you know, that's what you offer as value to the video, because I don't want the video just to be, oh, it's all me and me talking about stuff, although generally it is. The comment section is for you to add value to the video if you agree with the points that I say, or if you maybe don't agree with what I say, and that is perfectly fine. This is a free, just nice debate and discussion in the comments below. And you know, I think we can get a lot of value out of videos like this going forward until Ark 2 releases, and then obviously I'll be doing a review on it and my thoughts and opinions. That's really all I've got to talk about today. Feel free to leave those comments down below, as I really do want to hear what you have to say on the topic. It is a very interesting one for me, and I'll see you all later. Bye. Now, of course, we must shout out our Patreons, Ekaterina Pechkova and Karina Thorne, who are our paid Patreon members at the moment. Thank you for all your support. I really appreciate everyone on this list. Everyone else is, of course, free members. Thanks for the support, though.